Today is a typical hot summer day in Beijing in year 2025, and I'm taking my parents to visit my sister's new home in the suburb of the Beijing city for the first time. It might be interesting to you because the type of apartment my sister moved in is a government apartment built for lower income people. Some people call it housing for the poor. Well, it might give you some idea how ordinary people in China are trying to improve their living conditions. Of course, cheaper rent comes with a price, or at least with a distance. My sister's new apartment is nearly 35 kilometers from the Tiananmen Square, aka the real city center of Beijing. Well, if you drive, that might not sound an extreme distance, but it would take 2 hours by public transportation from there to major places in Beijing. By local standard, it's rather long distance. Today, the traffic on the expressway was smooth, and it was an hour's taxi ride. My sister is 50 years old, and under China's old labor law, she was lucky to have just retired this year. From next year onward, women need to work till age 55 to retire. Retirement without salary but a meager pension might have helped her to meet the income requirements to rent this public housing. We all feel very happy for her and were eager to find out how her new home was like. Like many cities across China, the Beijing city government also published its plan for this type of public housing in its website. There are 50,000 apartments completed this year, and a similar amount is planned for next year. This nationwide public housing project is like rent control of public housing in some countries. But I would like to add a cultural note here. As a developing country with poor housing solutions, ordinary people are just happy enough to have a place to live. And it would even be better to receive government subsidies to live. Well, along the way to my sister's new home, we can see that urbanization has completely changed China's landscape and living traditions. Interestingly enough, my sister's new home is situated in an area famous for its watermelon farms. Immediately after the highway toll gate to this area, we arrived at this town of watermelon. This building on our right is the village office building, but it is also the China Watermelon Museum, and the shape is called a flying watermelon. Inside this museum, there's a permanent exhibition showing watermelon stories. For instance, watermelon originated from West and Central Asia via the Silk Road. Thus its Chinese name literally means West melon, not watermelon. The museum also keeps record of the biggest local melon of the year, and the largest one is nearly 80 kilograms. With urban expansion, this former watermelon village has become a residential area. Still, there are watermelon produced from this area, so I could not help wondering how the farmers' lives have changed in this area. Where have the farmers gone with their land turned into apartment buildings? Do they also qualify for subsidized public housing as well? This looks like a middle school. Across the street, this colorful building is a kindergarten, so there are supporting systems for the new development area as well. Here's the building area my sister lives. These buildings are brand new, and even the final steps of the construction still going on. But there are people like my sister could not wait for any minute longer to move in.
他到这个先出来。
广优，敲门，使劲敲门，有门铃儿，左边个门铃呢吗？别出声。Since my sister moved in so quickly that they just bought very basic furniture for the moment. The apartment is completed with very simple furnishing. There are 2 bathrooms and 1 is ensuite in the main bedroom. All rooms are very small, and my sister bought only beds and electric appliances as the first step to move in. My sister has one only son who is in university in another city, so the place is big enough for her and her husband. When I was editing this video, I noticed that their home appliances are mostly Siemens, the German brand. Many of these foreign brands are made in China, and people are not that sensitive to where the brand belongs. Indeed, to boost domestic consumption to survive the trade war with the United States, China this year has a nationwide subsidy for virtually all kinds of products. For their new home, my sister's dishwasher, washing machine, air conditioners, and sofa all received tax rebate at around 20% at least. Well, from shampoo to dishwasher, and to refrigerator to computer, all are US and European brands. So it is interesting how US justified its trade war with China when ordinary Chinese people's homes are full of foreign brands. My sister enjoys home gardening, despite the fact that she has never had a real garden, neither have I. China has very vast land, but independent houses are limited to super rich or those who got richer earlier. How is it like in your country? Is it easy to have a house, or people are also moving to cities, thus have to live in apartments? In today's China, people have to move to cities for jobs, and the urbanization rate has increased to 65%, a super fast speed that caused unprecedented social problems. Most of the apartment buildings were built quickly in a short period from the 1980s till today, thus all suffer from bad quality and poor design. Even this new trend of public housing, there are a lot of scandals for their poor quality and in the middle of nowhere locations. To build and rent directly by the government to lower income people is the trend in recent 10 or 20 years and has proved to be very popular. To qualify for application, there are 3 requirements. first requirement is based on the current living conditions. For instance, in Beijing, if your living area is lower than 30 square meters per person for a family, they are qualified to apply. Second requirement is based on the household annual income. In Beijing, is around 100,000 Chinese yuan, equivalent to 13,000 US dollar per year per family. And the third requirement is which district of the city you work. Anyway, my sister and her husband are super happy to rent this new apartment. For the small 3-bedroom apartment like theirs, the monthly rent is around 2,200 yuan, or 300 US dollars, which is barely to rent a room in the city area. Well, now it's closer to 8 o'clock. It was still bright outside and very typical for a summer day in Beijing. And you could see, because it was far away from the city, many residents were arriving at home at this hour. But at the same time, you can easily tell what kind of people are in need for this public housing. Typically, those young with children and people just start to have their own families. It gets dark quickly, and I decided to take a taxi to the nearest subway station, which is 6 kilometers away. On my way back, by using public transportation, it took me 2 hours, while on my way there, it was only 1 hour by taxi. But anyway, that's the end of my visit to the watermelon town and my sister's new home. I would probably make videos next time on the countryside in the watermelon town and the watermelon farms and the village peoples there. But thanks for watching this channel for ordinary people's life in China, and stay tuned and subscribe for more.